Hi guys, welcome back to another Platterful tutorial. Today we're diving into our June kit, and this one is absolutely packed with rich, creamy flavors that are perfect for summer entertaining. As always, we're going to start by prepping all of our cheeses and meats before we build the boards. Getting everything ready ahead of time makes assembly so much easier, and it helps create that full, abundant look that we all love. First up, we have our mild Gouda. This cheese is aged for just 2 months, which gives it a wonderfully creamy, buttery flavor that's approachable and crowd-friendly. For prep, I'm keeping the rind intact because it creates this really beautiful presentation on the board. Using my knife, I'm carefully cutting along the inside edge of the rind to separate the cheese from the outer shell. Then I'm making slices all the way across the cheese and gently sliding them back into place using the rind as a little placeholder. I love this technique because it still looks like a full wedge of cheese, but guests can easily grab a slice without having to cut into it themselves. Next up is our apple walnut smoked cheddar. This cheese is heavenly. It's creamy, buttery, slightly smoky, and has so much flavor packed into every bite. To prep this one, I'm using the tip of a sharp knife and starting at the bottom of the block. Instead of slicing it, I'm gently inserting the tip of the knife and allowing natural crumbles to form. I continue working my way about halfway up the cheese, creating lots of rustic chunks and crumbles. Then I simply place those pieces back over the remaining block. This just creates beautiful texture on the board and makes the cheese feel a little bit more approachable for guests to grab and enjoy. Now for those with the large kit, you also received a dill havarti. For this one, I'm just going to keep things simple and cut it into cubes. I personally prefer smaller cubes because they're just easy to grab and pair with other items on the board, but feel free to make them as large or as small as you'd like. The creamy texture and fresh dill flavor make this cheese such a great addition to the board. Now let's move on to the meats. We're starting with our Sopressata. First, I'm making 4 salami ribbons. To create these, take 1 slice of salami and fold it in half, then take a second slice, fold that one in half as well, and interlace them together. You'll need about 8 slices total to create 4 ribbons. It's a really simple technique, but it adds great texture and variation to your board. With the remaining sopressata, I'm making little salami roses. Take 5 slices and overlap them about halfway across one another in a straight line. Next, fold the row of slices upward halfway, hot dog style, and then tightly roll everything from left to right. Once rolled, you'll have a beautiful little salami rose. To help the roses keep their shape, I'm tucking them in between some of the havarti cubes. You can also nestle them against another cheese on the board. Another great tip is placing them into a small 2-ounce cup while you're assembling, or you can secure the bottom with a little toothpick to hold its shape. If you have the large kit, you also received roasted garlic summer sausage. For this one, I'm simply slicing it into rounds. And when placing it on the board, I like to overlap the slices slightly and then let them flow naturally across the board in a gentle line. It creates movement throughout the design and makes it easy for guests to just grab a little piece as they snack. And that's it for our prep. Now that all of our cheeses and meats are ready to go, we're ready to start building our boards. If you have the large kit, feel free to jump ahead about a minute or so into the video. We'll assemble the standard board first, and then we'll move on to the large board. As always, don't forget to tag us in your creations. We absolutely love seeing what you make, and be sure to follow us on Instagram for even more charcuterie inspiration. Let's get building.